a copy of the measure. And
So
I thought
Robin is showing us the measure they've proposed.
we can read it over before we go on. Here's a copy of the measure. This is what we're here about.
So
And here's talking points that we want to cover.
oh, that is so offensive. Protecting residents
Now,
regardless
on
of
your
status?
talking points, these are for internal use only. Don't hand these into the staff, and try not to like flash them to the staff. These are for our
May I see that really quick, Robin? This is a reminder for what we...
talking points. For
Absolutely.
Our meeting. Okay, so if you don't have a copy of the measure, just double up with someone.
Yes.
And we're going to go ahead and read that. Did you get a copy of the measure, Chanel? The actual measure?
Absolutely. I want to add, this was really offensive to me because this was introduced December 6th, and Janice Hahn herself said, we're going to protect everybody in the county, even if we have to build a wall around LA County.
Yeah.
Now, that's really offensive because they were campaigning on taking down walls, weren't they? Now they want to build a wall, but house us in. You know, they built walls around Japanese Americans during World War II. They've built walls around, people. These were citizens. So this is like a new thing for these very corrupt, undocumented politicians, right, Chanel?
Okay.
Very offensive.
We're going to look at the measure itself. This is what we're here specifically about today.
Okay.
So, can you double up with someone? Janet, you probably read it all. And I've sent you copies of this. There's a link in the email. So, Chanel, do you want to read the first paragraph? Or do you want someone else to read it?
I don't have my
do it
glasses
loud.
out.
I can read it.
The recent presidential election has provoked.
Okay. The recent presidential election has provoked anxiety, fear, and protest among many county residents. Los Angeles County is home to more than 3 million immigrant residents, nearly half are citizens. The remainder includes legal permanent residents, refugees granted asylum, immigrants granted temporarily relief under the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals DACA program, and undocumented aliens. In fact, 57% of Los
Janet, can I
Angeles
see your
area
sign?
children have a foreign-born parent. LA County needs to assure these families that their leaders will defend their rights and interests no matter what. Can we go ahead?
Then you're going to read paragraph number 2.
Since I was elected
And this is Hilda Solis, supervisor, when it says since I was elected.
Since I was elected, Los Angeles County has taken several steps to protect our immigrant communities. We launched a county-wide effort to support the implementation of DACA by providing education outreach throughout our county facilities. We established regulatory structures to protect against wage theft and notarial fraud, which disappropriately impact immigrant communities. We also acted to end the destructive 287G program, which authorized sheriff deputies to perform the functions of federal immigration agents and to prohibit the Federal Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, ICE, from operating a permanent office in our jail facilities. Lastly, we insisted that the sheriff is in implementing President Obama's Priority Enforcement Program, PEP, put in place policies and procedures that prevented racial profiling and provided access to legal representation.
Janice, can you read the next? That's the third paragraph. Can you read the third one?
Many of the election promises made by President-elect Donald Trump during his campaign would, if enacted, have devastating consequences for Los Angeles County, not just for immigrant communities, but for the entire economy. Safety net, a sense of community. For example, the president-elect committed to repealing Obamacare could withdraw health insurance coverage from thousands of residents, causing county emergency rooms to once again flood with uninsured patients, nowhere else to go. Another example, should the new president follow through on his, excuse me, on his pledge to repeal DACA program, nearly 500,000 county residents previously eligible for protection could face removal. Worse, the data supplied by residents who have already applied for DACA relief could be used by federal authorities to target them and their families.
Janet, would you read the next paragraph? That's the second paragraph.
That such actions would tear the social fabric connecting Los Angeles County residents is plain. That this Board of Supervisors must stand up for these residents is also to be clear. The county should act now to prepare for significant changes in federal policy and to develop a strategy for protecting our residents regardless of immigration status.
Okay, therefore, move that the Board of Supervisors, now this is what they've been tasked to do, direct the Chief Executive Officer to immediately convert the existing county DACA task force into the County Immigrant Protection Task Force. So they want this to broadly cover every individual in LA County that's in the country illegally. No longer just the DACA, but every
Right.
person that's here illegally.
How about those two illegals on the city commissions there in
Exactly.
Huntington Park who didn't qualify for DACA or DAPA, which isn't a qualification in itself?
Which would be responsible for developing and recommending strategies for protecting immigrants and to report back in consultation with established civil and immigrant rights organizations within 45 days at a regularly scheduled public board meeting with A, recommendations for a complete strategy, including specific recommendations from each department for protecting immigrant residents. Each department in LA County. Analysis of the feasibility of creating an Office of Department of Immigrant Affairs. LA County wants to set up an office or Department of Immigrant Affairs.
Billions of dollars to taxpayers. That's exactly.
We have to pay for their criminality.
And they're
Exactly.
illegal aliens, not immigrants.
That's right. That's so offensive to me.
It's
And I was
extremely
born here and I find that offensive. There's a huge difference.
Do not use my tax
And
dollars
this would be
for illegals.
to serve and protect all immigrant residents of Los Angeles County, including preliminary recommendations for what the mission, roles, responsibilities, and organized structure of such an agency might be. C, analysis of the potential funding impacts to the county
jeez.
and potential service impacts to the county residents. If receipt of federal funds are conditioned on compliance with current or proposed requirements relating to immigration enforcement. So that paragraph says, we're a little scared we're going to be losing some federal funds here, but we're going to look into it as a county.
Oh, jeez.
2, direct the superintendent of the Office of Education in consultation with other local school districts and institutions of public higher education and with established civil and immigration right organizations to report back within 45 days at a regularly scheduled public board meeting.
So
and that date is Tuesday, January 24th. Although we've learned they're actually going to be bringing up issues Tuesday, January 10th, and we'll discuss that later because we're hoping we can get a group out to that particular meeting. Also, direct the Chief Information Officer to report back in writing within 45 days with a plan for protecting the data and identities of county residents who may be adversely affected by new federal policies. 4, direct county councils, we got our attorneys coming in, to report back in writing within 45 days with an analysis of the President's legal authority to modify current laws and policies affecting immigration penalties that may be legally imposed by the federal government on local governments.
Oh.
And then we're going to skip to 5. This is